we'll see where the Fangio thing goes. We'll see. It does feel like, other than Fangio, to a large extent, the dust has settled on the Eagles. I mean, you got your coordinator, you got your passing game coordinator. Really just got to settle this Fangio thing. So to a large extent, it feels like the dust has settled. And so then I ask you this, knowing we're really only about a month and a week away from free agency, and then here we go, off to the races, free agency and the draft and blah, blah, blah. I ask you this at 215-592-9494. In a big picture sense, big picture, how do you feel about the Eagles? And here's what I mean. There were a lot of concerns, rightfully so, expressed about our football team during the 2025 season, and many of those concerns linger. But I ask you this, do you think the concerns that we've had are major enough that they begin to derail the Eagles from, like, for instance, being a consistent playoff team, being a consistent contender? Or do you think the Eagles have enough foundation, and even if they have to replenish, in Howie we trust, that, like, they just keep on rolling in the midst of an absolutely amazing period of time that clearly even the village idiot would say has been their most successful 9 years in their franchise? They've been in the playoffs 8 out of 9 times, 3 Super Bowls, won 2 of them. Just keep on rolling. Hey, by the way, they did actually win 11 games, and that was a down year. John, where do you stand, John, in the big picture? Because I will just say this before I turn it to you. I am very torn on this. Here's my mindset today, and I want to hear from you at 215-592-9494. I'm kind of in a convince me mode for the next 4 hours. Candidly, I'm not sure. I can make a great case. They keep rolling. Number one reason, Howie Roseman. I can make a great case they don't keep rolling. Saw a lot in 25 I didn't like. My number one concern is the quarterback. And I can make a great case they're in trouble there. I don't know. I'm very torn on this. John, where do you stand in everyone? 215-592-9494. In the big picture, what do we got?
In the big picture, we've got a team that is playoff worthy, is Super Bowl potential worthy if they play this the right way, because they're built, from the bones out. They're built the right way by Howie Roseman. I think this team can win a championship, and I feel confident saying that before this year's Super Bowl is even being played. Mm-hmm. This team can turn it around and go win because of the quality of personnel that they've got. And, they've been there and they have done that. They are the reigning world champions as we speak right now. Let's not forget that. This team can win a championship if they find an edge on offense and run with it. And that's what good offensive coordinators do. They find that edge. We had that edge in Doug back in for the 2017 Super Bowl. We had that edge when we won it with Jalen. With the RPOs, we were one step ahead of defenses, and teams caught up. Defenses caught up. Now we have to take that next step. I have no doubt if we do that properly, we can go and win this thing. I am worried that, and we all should be, hey, it seems like the jig is almost up with the people from the outside looking in, the way they perceive this thing is not good. The way that they perceive the way this is being run.
I'll give you a maybe on that.
It's not a positive.
I'm not sure about that. Because I know this. The Eagles, I think they're still the envy of a lot of people around the league. I really do.
Okay. Not coaches.
Well,
we couldn't get good coaches who weren't fans of the team here. Like that to me feels problematic. Like we celebrate Vic Fangio, but now we're biting our nails off, worried that he won't be back.
I know.
He should be a slam dunk. I mean, the guy's an Eagles fan, born and raised, and he wants to be here. He's not weighing offers to go become a defensive coordinator or a head coach anywhere else. No. He wants to be here, or does he? That's the thing. Yeah. Even Vic Fangio is the jig about up, even within that building. If Vic Fangio, the fan that we love the guy, we worship him because he's like us. If he's
a better defensive coordinator than I am. He's not that like us. He's better than I am. No, I hear you, John. I'm joking. Look,
don't you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, that really does lead me to worry that, hey, the outside looking in says we're wonky. Even the inside looking in, even the inside looking out is starting to say, we got some issues.
No, listen, I think that is a reasonable point. We don't know. We talked a lot about this yesterday. Is he just old guy that wants to retire or frustrated guy that is like, what the hell? Look, talk to us at 215-592-9494. Let me give you my ledger, and I'm only going to give you the top items. When I say top 3 or 4, because I'm extremely torn on whether to think this Eagles thing keeps rocking and rolling, or let me put it this way, guys. Teams go up in the NFL, Seattle, New England. Teams go down in the NFL. And it's only a matter of time until the Eagles fall out of the playoffs and don't keep this run of excellence going, but maybe that's 3, 4, 5 years away still. Because they've been doing it for, it feels like a decade now, other than 2020. Here's my ledger. Reasons to believe. Number 1, and it is so totally number 1, Howie Roseman. It's the number 1 reason. Number 1 reason to believe they just keep rocking and rolling in Howie we trust. I mean, him and Lurie are the only 2 constants this whole time. So, Howie, number 1. Number 2, I'm a Sirianni guy. Now, am I shakier than I was a year ago and 4 months ago? Yeah, sure. But, I'm still a Sirianni guy. So I'm going right there. You also still have a strong defense and a young defense. Their 3 best players are all in their first 3 years of pro football. Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. I mean, I'd say Zach Bond's their 4th best defensive player. They're still young. They're still strong. One thing that I got to throw into this element here right now when I talk about pro Eagles reasons to believe. Guys, they weren't supposed to win the Super Bowl. Teams that win the Super Bowl aren't, supposed to win it the next year. I know you think they are. They're not. Guys, you look at the history of the league, repeating is really hard. They actually won 11 games, and if they had tried in the last game, they would have won 12. When I was growing up, I would have died to have years where they win 11 games. Now they win 11, we're like, throw them out. So, all right, those are just some top items on why there's still reason to think they always make the playoffs, right? But let me give you the flip side and talk to me on which of these 2 sides of the ledger hit you more in a big picture sense. 215-592-9494. My number 1 concern, you may not agree, many will, many won't. My number 1 concern is Hurts. It's my number 1 concern. And the last time the Eagles derailed, and it was only for 1 year, 2020, but the primary reason was Carson. It was. Primary reason was Carson. And when I look at this century, the 3 teams that kept it going the most, obviously, New England, number 1, Brady. Obviously, the Chiefs, number 2, Mahomes. And I would say the Colts, number 3. You kind of forget about them because, they only won 1 Super Bowl, but they had 10 or 12 years. They were winning 12 games every year. That was Peyton Manning. It normally comes down to the quarterback. I don't feel our quarterback is that. And that's okay. Now, it don't have to be Mahomes, Brady, and Peyton Manning, but I'd like him to be better than average. And this year, I thought he was average to lousy. Got to run, dude. Got to run. So that's my number 1 concern. Roster advantage at some point is going to
coach him better.
Maybe. Roster advantage at some point is going to run out. Now, maybe how he keeps it going, but we know they've had a wild advantage of incredibly talented players. And obviously, AJ and Lane are 2 Hall of Fame level players. They may not have much longer. I think AJ is probably gone. So I start with that.
I think we got to get real about the fact that we can't depend on Lane anymore. Either. We love him. Yeah. We've relied on him for what feels like 2 decades.
It's incredible. So
we need to draft a right tackle. We need to get or bring a right tackle in free agency, but that's just way too expensive.
By the way, they're also going to need to draft a wide receiver. They might need to draft an edge rusher. So roster advantage at some point is going to be depleted, and I think those 2 are the main 2 that you really worry about. O-line health, I can't act like that's not a concern. Dickerson, Juergens. Do I have them for the next 8 years and they're going to be, Pro Bowl guys, or are they just so banged up, diminishing returns? I don't know. And then there's
I do know it'll probably be better than this year because they were so banged
I hope,
up
man.
Right at the start of the year.
I hope.
They're coming back from surgeries right at the start of the year.
Well, look,
back.
I know. You guys tell us when you hear that ledger, and there are other elements. I'm only giving you some top items there. But when you size it up big picture, knowing that, really the dust has settled in the 25 season, 26 offseason has begun, pretty much just got to figure out this Fangio thing, and otherwise, hey, let's plan for free agency in the draft. What do we got? I'm very confused. Honestly, I really am. Because there are strong elements on both sides of this. Convince me. One way or the other. Where do you stand? 215-592-9494. The run of excellence continues, or real trouble looms? Like they start missing the playoffs. What do you think? Joe DeCamara and Jon Ritchie, it's 94 WIP.